All right, Bob Chick, I'm here with the dream team when it comes to coverage of the sports. David Baye and, of course, Hall of Famer Kevin Levrone. We are here at the Phoenix Europa. Just wrapped stuff up literally just moments ago, and what a great show here. We got some new Olympians going to be in Vegas. Let's start off with that 212. Certainly a guy no stranger to the winner's circle, no stranger to Vegas either in the Olympia at that 212. Jose Raymond just bringing it here, man. I mean, he was our pre-contest pick, and I tell you what, he did not disappoint.
No, Jose looked absolutely incredible, and like we had discussed last night, possibly even better than he was at the Olympia. He was as full as we've always seen him. Really, really shredded, dry, and he came out and closed the door, like we said, on everybody last night. He was pretty frustrated about his placing here last year, and definitely came back and showed people that he can bring it after the Olympia.
Yeah, and this was a personal one for Jose. I mean, he didn't really need this win. He's already qualified. He's done well on the circuit, of course, and he's been to the Olympia probably a dozen times, Kev. But this one he took personal. I mean, he did not make the cut. No, I shouldn't say the cut. The top 5 last year, which was very unusual for Jose. So this one, this is something he wanted very badly.
Yeah, I mean, I was very familiar with his placing last year. Seeing him backstage today, it was just, it blew me away. I was like, wow, this guy, he was thick, he was full. And I don't know if you were out here emceeing the show, but I was like backstage. I mean, his veins were just coming out like fire hoses, man. I'm like, what did you do? He's like, well, I finally started eating. And a lot of these guys, Bob, they think that starving is the answer to getting ripped and lean. Well, you have to be thick, full, and hard. And tonight, he definitely brought the package in.
Well, Jose Raymond parking himself at the all-you-can-eat buffet, apparently, before coming to the finals. I'll tell you what, he looked great, but wasn't without a fight. Mark Dugdale really bringing it here. And I thought Mark looked great at the prejudging. He ends up in the second position, which I know he's probably pleased with behind Jose. But Mark, fantastic finish.
Yeah, absolutely. With the way Jose looked, Mark's got to keep his head real high, especially getting second place amongst this crowd. Mark looked really good. Mark's one of those guys to me, when we were in Dallas earlier on this year, Mark came out on stage, said he looks a little bit undersized, but he's in really good shape. He's one of those guys that when you put him next to people, he actually looks a little bit better. We're used to kind of saying it on the flip side, well, this guy looks great. You put him in a lineup and he kind of loses some ground. Mark's kind of the opposite. He really makes up with his conditioning. He's got really good lines, and he's one of the really good guys in the sport. So I was really happy to see Mark get that second place spot.
Well, Ahmad, Tricky Jackson, and Marvin Ward, the human statue, rounding that one out. I'll tell you what, those 212 guys bring it, Kevin. I mean, there was no room for not coming in condition with these guys. As
far as the conditioning with the 212 guys, I got to tell you, I was more impressed with the 212 class as far as conditioning than the bigger guys. You're right. These guys, they stacked it up. They brought it in, man. I was actually backstage saying, how much do you weigh? I know. I'm like, God, man, they just look so much bigger.
Yeah, some of those guys, you can't figure out how they make 212, but they do it, man.
Unbelievable, man.
That's for sure. All right, David, let's get right into the open category. This one's going to surprise some people. Mo Banute really bringing it here. Now, it won't surprise people that he was the hardest and most conditioned guy in the show. That's kind of his trademark. He's been a little bit up and down and bringing that to the stage, but he brought it here and rewarded with an Olympia finish. He was almost speechless there. He's so excited.
Yeah, it was really cool to see Mo get that award. He said it's his dream to get on the Olympia stage, just like any bodybuilder. With his structure, he's one of these guys where you never really knew whether he was going to have a chance to land in that first place spot and get his Olympia qualification. And the one thing I'm going to say, and a lot of the guys on the boards are probably going to talk about it being a weak lineup, and this is a guy who doesn't deserve to be at the Olympia and all that nonsense. But I really enjoyed seeing him win for the fact that he brought his conditioning and he really nailed it. We talk so much about these guys who have so much potential and this and that and are always missing the mark, and and to see a guy just really show up in an open lineup where there wasn't a clear winner and nail it with his conditioning. He put in the work, he busted his ass. He was willing to suffer. We talk about that all the time. You got to be willing to suffer. Obviously, he did to get in that condition. So I say, you know what, good for him. Congratulations to Mo.
And congratulations on the judging staff. I thought they did a great job on the panel. Again, that's not a top name. There's other top names which we'll get into in a minute that would have been featured, or obviously guys that you think, well, they're just going to give it to this guy. They didn't. They called it the way they saw it. Johnny Jackson, one of those names, probably coming in as the pre-contest favorite, falling just short. He didn't have the conditioning that Mo had, but he packs a whole bunch of muscle, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you know, Johnny, I actually thought Johnny was going to be in third place with the way it looked in prejudging. Right. They had 6 guys out. They had Mo and Brad in the middle 2 spots. Thought Brad was going to be in second place. You know, they came out tonight, and, you know, they reran him through the confirmation rounds, and when Johnny turned around, they moved Mo out so they could see Brad next to Johnny, and when they hit those back shots, you know, despite Johnny's legs not being what Brad's were, his back and his upper body was just too much for Brad. But, you know, you bring up a good point. As far as the names go at this show, Johnny Jackson's one of the biggest names in bodybuilding, has been for a long time. You know, the judges gave it to the guy who brought the conditioning, and, you know, Johnny, I mean, still a good finish, second place. Johnny visibly disappointed, but, you know, he's going to have to get back to being really, really shredded. You know, despite his legs being down a little, he's still got a world-class physique. He's just got to nail his conditioning. Well,
nobody really could match Mo when it came to conditioning, and then again, that's his trademark when it comes to bringing his physique in. Ooh. Kevin, let me ask you this: Brad Rowe, a new guy on the circuit, nobody, again, not on anybody's radar really coming in here, but you know, you were that new guy once coming in that nobody knew who you were, and boom, you were on that scene and winning shows. I tell you what, this kid's good.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, we're talking about conditioning and what these guys are bringing to the stage. It's like, as long as you get in there, you do your homework, you bust your ass, you know, and you're going to be rewarded. A lot of times you might say, well, you know, this guy might have a name, but name is okay. I remember my first Mr. Olympia, I was up against a whole lot of names, but that conditioning kind of like made me stand out, and the judges were like, wow, you know, this guy's somebody to be reckoned with. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly new. This guy's, you know, he's got potential, so sky's the limit. You know, just keep bringing it, come in shape, come in conditioning, and you're definitely going to win. As far as Mo, man, he walked out, it was like a fresh breath of air. I'm like, God, you know, somebody that really put their work and time in. You know, George worked with him, and he was rewarded tonight.
He sure was. Well, Freddie Smalls and the showstopper, Ben White, taking the 4th and 5th respectively. Both guys look good. Certainly nothing wrong there. Both guys not quite at their peak on form, but still rewarded with a top 5 finish.
Yeah, you know, both of those guys have a lot of potential. But, you know, like we talked before, that's a word that we can throw around so much in bodybuilding. I mean, we can go through the lineup and pick out guys, and I really like Fred Smalls' physique. I mean, he's got a small waist, he's got good muscle bellies, nice sweep on his quads. He's got to dial it in. You know, as far as Ben White, he was a little bit better in Tampa. You know, we thought we were getting back to the older Ben White, big full upper body, really peeled legs. You know, took a little bit of a step back here tonight. Still a top 5 finish, but, you know, again, another guy that was a little bit disappointed. He's just got to get back to, you know, he's got to get back to where he was at a few years ago when, you know, he was just that real powerful physique that, you know, that people were used to seeing.
Kevin, how'd you like the big impromptu pose down between the Texas Tornado, Frank Robertson, and Fred Smalls? Really lighting up the stage here.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, entertainment, man. People come to see a show, and these guys definitely gave it to them tonight. You know, almost was like they didn't want to leave the stage. You know, well, one of those kind of feelings.
And that was completely unscripted. That's just something I threw out there because I like to have fun, and you know, you could see that these two guys really kind of rose above the rest. And hats off to Ed Pariso, because he came up with a trophy and a handful of cash we couldn't even figure out who our winner was. The audience was completely split. He finally threw the money in the cup and walked away and says, "You guys figure it out." Yeah. These guys are literally splitting the money on the stage. I thought that was pretty good. With some great competition here at Phoenix. David, let's run down some of the other winners. Teresita Morales in women's physique, Jason Poston in men's physique, taking home those wins. I don't think anybody didn't think that Jason was going to win. Looked absolutely fantastic. He'll be back on the Olympia stage, of course, this year. Teresita Morales, first time win, first time Olympia coming up.
Yeah, she looked really good. A little bit of a smaller girl. You know, we've seen a little bit of a trend in the women's physique division. The girls a little bit bigger, you know, with Juliana and Dana, the placing the way they did at the Olympia. So she's got a little bit smaller package than what we've been used to seeing in the winner's circle, but she's got really nice shape, small waist, and brought really good conditioning. So I don't think anybody's going to be upset to see her as a winner.
Well, Kev, I know you're a bikini expert, so I'm going to come to you on this one. But Sarah LeBlanc winning the bikini, she was probably favored coming in. She's got a whole bunch of wins under her belt, but she looked fantastic, and she'll be back to the Olympia.
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw her backstage, and her conditioning, what she brought to package tonight was certainly 100% on. I mean, I was like, wow, you know. I mean, it's like, you know, you can kind of tell, you know, when they just take it to that next level. So I mean, what did she place? 7th at the Olympia?
Yeah, I think she was in the top. You would know. You're the expert in bikini.
I think it was 7th where she placed at the Olympia, and I said, you know what, the sky's the limit for you. Yeah. You know, and. So I'm expecting to see some huge things from her, man. Definitely.
Well, the big mix-up to me, David, was in the figure division. I mean, there was a whole bunch of names that were coming across that stage, and I tell you, these girls were all in great shape and some great physiques in that top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I could run down this list of names. Tamara Sedlak in 5th, Brittany Campbell in 4th, Josie Zamaro in 3rd. Ivana Ivucevic in 2nd, and Vera Mallet in 3rd. And a lot of people that are watching this are going to say, who,
right.
who? You know, but these girls all look great. You know, it was a great opportunity for all 5 of these girls without the real big names that we're used to seeing on stage in the figure division. Again, an opportunity for them to make a name for themselves, and you know, and get in that winner's circle in an Olympia qualification for Vera.
Well, 7 pro divisions being represented here at Phoenix, so this thing, to say that it was supersized this year is an understatement. Double the size here at the Expo. Great crowd both days, Saturday and Sunday. And
just one thing, before we wrap this up, and you guys, I hope you'll give me a second. As a bodybuilding fan, this is the first time I've been on camera with Kevin, and I've been a fan since I was
frightening, isn't it?
Since I was like 12 years old. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to get cheesy on camera, but just for me as a fan and now somebody working in the industry, it's an absolute honor, and thank you very much.
Thanks, man. Well,
Kevin, it's always great to have you at the shows, providing some commentary and.
You know, Bob, I mean, I feel blessed. I feel honored, and to be able to still walk into an arena and be accepted. I mean, I walked off stage 12 years ago, you know, and it just goes to show that, you know, when you put that hard work in and you treat people with respect, you just get that in return. And this is a sport. It's a small sport, even though it's huge as far as, you know, attendance. We're growing like crazy. I was just backstage. I'm like, wow, you know, things have really changed since when I was competing backstage. I mean, it's our sport is definitely going upward, and that's a good thing. But to be involved today and compared to yesterday, and just still have that love and camaraderie, and everybody at the end of the day supports one another. Like, you know, you said, hey, I was a big influence to you. Bob's been a big influence to me. We've been on stage together. You know, it runs deep. We are one big family. You know, and we never leave one behind. We're always there for one another. Like, MD is there for us right now. You know, Steve is there for us right now. This is all a vision. So, you know, I always have to say that as long as you believe in yourself, you never quit, you never give up, you'll never lose.
Well, Kev, before we sign off, I'm hearing some rumors out there, and obviously you can see you're in great shape. You've always stayed in shape since you retired. You know, you don't carry the mass like you used to, obviously, anymore. You know, the bodybuilding days are over. But I'm hearing that the board shorts might be coming your way. Any truth to the rumor you're making a comeback into professional men's physique, Kev?
Wow. You know what? Tune in on Muscular Development for that news. All right, check it out on the boards.
There you go. Comeback in the works. You never know with Kevin Levrone. So for David Baye, Kevin Levrone, this is Bob Chick. We're signing off here in Phoenix.